Well, hello and welcome back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot, the audio edition, the edition for people who are multitaskers and people who want to build their imaginary muscles or their imagination muscles or just build your imagination, period. Studies have proven, real science has proven, that the more we look at moving pictures on screens of one kind or another, the smaller, the weaker our imagination gets. Well, if you want to manifest, number one tool, good imagination. So the audio version allows you to do that. You will see only one thing on the screen during the whole reading, and that is the layout of the tarot reading for today. It's up to me to put the parts and pieces together, to tell you a good story, something that activates your imagination. You can see, you can feel in your mind's eye. That's the whole point. Tarot readings are not general. Although they're sold that way, they are very specific. Like everything else in our lives, it is our interpretation that gives them power or takes away power. Hopefully, with a tighter focus, a more developed imagination, you can manifest much better. Let's begin. Bottom row, as usual. Center card bottom row is the oracle card. First card we start out with, and this says mending. Mending. And the number up on the card, if you look in the upper right of the card, is 52. That's a 7. There's always a spiritual kind of quality, an intellectual kind of quality. It's not physical in the standard sense. In any event, you see two what look like fairies working together. They're literally mending something. Could be their relationship, could be something else more tangible. And when looking at this card, when I first did the layout, I thought, okay, mending, fixing, what are we doing? What's the focus? And as I'm looking at the rest of the cards, I think it's a question of boundaries. Fixing your boundaries. Maybe setting up boundaries for the first time in your life. Anyway, let's go. Bottom row, far left, King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, like any king, is master of that particular area. Pentacles are things that we value. Please, 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 not just money. You can value health. You can value happiness. You can value love. None of those things, by the way, can be purchased with money. So when you get right down to it, you go, okay, I live in the 3D. I got to have money to live. But it's not that essential. And I think that has been the door that has been open, that have taken away your boundaries. All of our boundaries. We have no boundaries. All we're doing is working for somebody else to make money for somebody else so that we can barely exist. Boundaries. We have none. And the King of Pentacles says, yes, you have to have boundaries, and you have to have a solid sense of self-worth to have boundaries. Good, healthy sense of self-worth. That's what the King of Pentacles brings. Remember, Pentacles are things that you value. What do you value? If you don't value yourself, you don't value anyone or anything else. It's just a game that you're playing, and you're going to lose every time. Let's go to the second one. This is a Queen of Swords. Swords are thoughts, ideas. Queen of Swords, very perceptive, very clever. Very straight talking. And again, if we're talking about setting up boundaries, it's straight talking with herself as well as others. Okay? And sometimes, in setting up proper boundaries for ourselves, we have to be a little cold. Just like her sword here. The sword of truth. Her truth. You don't want to hurt anybody else. You don't want to take advantage of anybody else. But hey, do not cross this line. I have my boundaries. I have my sense of values. Alrighty? That's part of me mending. We skip the oracle card, go to the right side of the bottom row. It's the Hermit. The Hermit, very, very important because solitude, right? Introspection. Being alone. seeking to understand, looking into themselves, inside themselves, for guidance. Your gut feeling is working 24/7, 365, no question about it, but you've been taught how not to pay attention to it. Don't pay attention to what you're feeling. No. And it's more than simply feeling. It's more than emotions. It's taking mind, body, spirit, combining them, taking those three things and coming up to a picture in your imagination. You get a good, clear picture of feeling. Sometimes when it doesn't make sense to make sense, it makes sense. You get it? It's a gut feeling. And if you're going to set up boundaries, you have to pay attention to your gut feeling. Not the emotional so much, because that can mislead you. That's a real quick reaction. But a gut feeling is something much deeper. And to have a good, strong, accurate gut feeling, you have to have the King of Pentacles, good sense of self-worth, the Queen of Swords, good sense of putting all the parts and pieces together so that you're honest with yourself as well as others, because if you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with others. And the final card, bottom row, the Lovers, the choice. The choice. Which way do you go? Do you continue on with this game? You have no chance of winning and no chance of finding satisfaction or joy or anything. Or do you decide you're going to mend? You are going to put up boundaries. You're going to put up fences. Okay? They say, there's an expression, good fences make for good neighbors. And in a way, that is true. Without getting to the extreme, you have good boundaries. You have good personal fences. Yes, it's going to offend some people because they have no boundaries and they don't want to see you having boundaries, which really is just a good definition of yourself. That's all. They don't have that. They don't want you to have that. It's amazing how many times in our life we point out to people the stuff that bothers us about us, but we find it in them. Maybe that's a hermit thing, huh? Anyway, so there's the choice. Do we put up fences, good, healthy boundaries in our life? To do that, got to be honest with ourselves, and we have to have good self-worth. Upstairs, card way on the left, Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is defiance, taking a stand, taking the offensive, not picking on other people, but not being overwhelmed by them either anymore. And the Wands are passion, excitement, enthusiasm. Well, you can't really have those things unless you have a sense of boundary, unless you have a sense of, okay, this is me, this is not me. It's not a question of mine, it's a question of me. Where do me fit in all of this? If I don't know, then I'm lost. I need mending. I need fence building. Seven of Wands says that's what you're in for. Nine of Swords next to it says this lack of boundaries in your life really creates a lot of problems. You know, go along, get along. You've heard that expression. But going along and getting along, you know, okay, so you go along with everybody to try to get along, and in the end you find out you don't get along anyway because you're not true to yourself. You don't have those healthy boundaries. And so you get stuck in their nightmare that you have to live. Makes you feel distressed. Makes you feel desolate. Good cause, too, for illness. So the idea of mending, getting good self-worth, being honest with yourself, knowing where the boundaries are, making the choice to go for positivity, enthusiasm, and help define what is you and what isn't you. Those good, healthy fences are essential to you going on. We skipped the card in the middle because we'll wrap up the tarot reading with that. So we move over to the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, again, every time the Queen enters the room, she attracts attention. It's not because she's loud, not because she's rambunctious, but she has a sense of positivity, of enthusiasm, of joy for life and living. And she has those things because she has a great sense of self-worth. She's honest with herself, so she can be honest with other people. No, you cannot step over this boundary. I'm sorry. And because of that, her life is in a constant process of mending fences, of giving good boundaries. She's choosing to do the things with passion, creativity, excitement, enthusiasm. But she can't do that unless she has those boundaries, those personal boundaries. And they're not meant to tie you down. They're meant to define you, to give you a sense of self. And the final card up top, Page of Swords. Pages always change the storyline. And the Page of Swords very simply says you're going to be honest with yourself. Same thing as the Queen of Swords, except the Queen of Swords does it better. Page of Swords is just beginning to be honest with themselves, to listen how they think, to listen to what they say. But the Page of Swords is revitalization, learning, embracing new challenges, honesty, integrity. And then he eventually graduates, or she graduates, into the Queen of Swords, because she has a clear understanding, a true value of herself, her worth. She can set up good, honest fences that are going to offend some people. I mean, it's a given. You could say good morning to somebody and someone's going to get angry just because you said good morning. Well, you're having a good morning. Well, I'm not. So it doesn't matter how people necessarily react to you. It's how you react to yourself. And a good sense of self-worth and honesty and integrity within yourself. Choosing to be happy, positive. Those are good fences. And the final card in the middle, vice versa card, it is the Nine of Wands. Determination, stamina, persisting, deciding, yes, I am going to be the person I want to be. And to do that, I need good values, good clarity. I'm thinking clearly, I'm speaking clearly, and I'm deciding to go for positive. I am setting up boundaries. I am setting up fences, not to keep people out, but just to know where I stand with myself, because that shapes every other part of my life. That's a big lesson today. Mending means mending fences with yourself first. Remember, what you do for you, what you get for you, you can do for others. You don't get it, you can't give it. Take care of mending your fences. So that's the reading for today. Excellent, excellent. Back tomorrow again, because we do a brand new read every day, 365. Between now and the next time you and I do tarot together, peace and blessings.